I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of obsessed with how this look turned out today. Hi everyone, if you hear noises, that is my dishwasher. I am filming in my living room as always, but the living room is attached to the kitchen and we're running the dishwasher right now. So apologies in advance, but I need the daylight. So this is happening today and you're just gonna hear the dishwasher in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I'll try and make this quick so the portion of the video that you hear it is as short as possible. Today we're going to be talking about this fantastic little thing. I don't remember, did I say who this was in collaboration with? This is the NYQVIST collaboration that she did with ODEN'S. It's called the HELA palette. I think she said in her video that it's pronounced HEL in Swedish, which I think is super cool. So I love this. Like, there's no other words for this. I love this so much. This is, I guess I'll go into the palette in a little bit. But this is the outer packaging. I haven't decided yet if I want to keep this or not, but this is in black and white. And then if you take the sleeve off without dropping anything, hopefully, come on. Oof, it's a tight fit. That's what she said. If you take the little slip off, you get the same image, but just in color. And it's just beautiful. I love this packaging, this color packaging on the inside. It's one of the most beautiful illustrations I think that they've ever done. So this is what the palette looks like. On the back side of it, you have all of the shade names. On the sleeve itself, it just has all of the ingredients on it. And then if you open up the palette like this, you get a big mirror. Well, big mirror, it's like a circular mirror. It's kind of little, but that's what the palette looks like. It is a grungy green, pink, like dream. It's so pretty. And one of the reasons I love this so much, this is the first time this has happened in one of my 3 looks videos where I've opened a palette and I've like analyzed the colors and tried to plan in my mind like what looks I'm going to do, and usually it comes pretty clearly to me. This palette, I had so many ideas. I couldn't choose. I spent so long just mulling over different ideas in my head of different looks to do, and I couldn't choose. I knew I wanted to make one that was neutral, like neutral leaning, and even that, like I couldn't just stick to like normal neutrals. I had to like spice it up a little bit, as you'll see. I wanted to do one that had the pink focus and one that was just all green. So this one is the one with like a little bit of pink in it, but also has some greens. I'm pretty sure I used every single shade in the palette in the 3 looks, because I know I used all those, I used all those, I used all of those. Yeah, I used every single shade in this palette for the 3 looks. So yeah, you will see the breadth of what this palette can do in the 3 looks. So we have some beautiful mattes in this palette. It is a pretty good ratio of mattes to shimmers. So we have 9 mattes and 7 shimmers in this palette, one of which is actually a multi-chrome. So this one down here, double-sided, is actually a multi-chrome shadow. And I have it on my lids today, basically all over. It's super, super pretty. I love this multi-chrome. It is a transparent base, so you can use it on your cheekbones as a highlighter. I did not. I'm wearing the Kaleidos Prophecy highlighter today. It's very similar to the Prophecy highlighter from Kaleidos, so if you really like that, you'll love this shade. I loved everything about this palette. It performs as well as all of the other ODEN'S formula palettes do. It is one of my favorite formulas, one of my favorite brands. Honestly, if I were to collaborate with a brand, it would be ODEN'S. It's a little pipe dream that I have going on in my head. But this one is just beautiful. This is stunning. The greens are beautiful. This grungy, kind of murky, mucky, yucky greens that are happening on the top. I live for those greens. I live for those greens. I did not think that I was gonna like these 2 colors. I did not think I was going to like those 2 colors because they're just not shades of green that I tend to gravitate towards. I tend to go for the more like yellowy, yucky greens, like swamp colors, rather than these kinds of like vibrant forest greens. But boy, did this palette prove me wrong. I'm wearing those greens on my eyes right now, and I love how they turned out, especially paired with the pinks. I thought pairing these greens with these pinks was gonna make it look really kind of weird and like childish, like they didn't fit together, but boy, do they fit together. Like I did not expect that. And then just this bottom row is like super grungy and dark and beautiful, and oh my God, this palette is so good. It's so, so good. Dare I say that I like this more than the collaboration that Angelica did with Kaleidos. Dare I say that? I think I might dare say that. I like this one more. It's so pretty. And just the kinds of looks that you can come out with, like even just with the 3 looks that I came up with today, there's still so many more ideas in my head for the types of looks that you can do with this palette. It's the same way I kind of feel about the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. Same kind of vibes. They're not the same by any stretch of the imagination. Like I swatched a few of them just to kind of compare them to myself, and they're not the same at all. Like they're even the grungy green shades in that palette there's no comparable shades in this palette to what they have in there. The only one maybe is this Underworld shade, but other than that, not really. The vibes are similar. Like I will say that the vibes are similar, but the actual shades themselves, there's not really much comparison. Even that Underworld shade is very different from like the kind of chartreusey yellow shade that you find in the Flower Punk palette. So I would say that it's 100% fair to have both of them. They are doing one more restock of this on the 22nd of March, I believe is what Angelica said. So you have one more chance to pick up this palette. I would recommend it because it is so good. It is so, so good. If you missed out on the previous Legendary Diversa collection, this is a really fantastic one. If you want to get this one, I love it. It is so good. So without further ado, let's get into the 3 looks and I will come back with my final thoughts. So first on my ODEN'S IFR1 brush, I'm going to take the shade Wolf just on this big fluffy brush, and I'm going to basically buff that all into the outer corner and up towards the brow bone. Using windshield wiping motions, I'm going to bring that in towards the crease a little bit, not adding any new product, just taking whatever is left on that brush and what's on the eyelid and just pushing that further into the crease. And just on that same brush, I'm taking some of that shade Wolf just into the bottom lash line. Then going in with my Morphe M441 brush, I'm going to take the shade Decay, and I'm concentrating this in the outer corner and blending it upwards. I'm not going in as haphazardly with this color. I definitely want this to be a little bit more concentrated in the outer portion. I figured why not get the neutral look out of the way first, you know? But am I going to keep it neutral? Who knows? Taking a little bit of that shade Decay just on the tip of that brush, I'm going to pat it just into the outer corner as close to the lash line as I can get it. Then going in with my Luxie 237, it's just a small blending brush. I'm going to take the shade Soot, which is the deep dark eggplant purple shade. Just pat that into the outer corner. As I'm going in darker and darker, I'm just concentrating that a lot more in just the outer corner. Then I'm taking a little bit more of that Soot shade on an angled liner brush and just patting that in the outer corner of my lower lash line. And then just going back in with that brush we used before, I'm just blending that out. I'm gonna go back in with that Wolf shade and just blend out the outer edges of that Soot shade because I don't want to lose the color that I've placed down before. Okay, then I'm going to take the shade Complete. It's just this black shimmery shade. And I'm going to place that in my outer corner, just on my finger. And then with the shade River, I'm going to take that in the inner portion. My eyelids look like the night sky, and I kind of love it. Then on my Oden's Eye FR6 brush, the last thing we're gonna do is take the shade Double Sided. It's that beautiful multi-chrome shade, and I'm going to pat that into my inner corner. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring that all along my lower lash line. Just amp this up a little. Bringing a little bit more of that onto the top, just lining the crease a little bit. I really love this. My eyes look like the night sky. It's so pretty. And here is the first look completed. For today's look, I'm going to focus more on the green side of things. I'm going to take the shade Underworld on my FR1 from Oden's Eye. It's just a big fluffy brush. And I'm pretty much just going to spread this all over my eye. Focusing it in the crease and up towards my brow bone. I'm not worried about this being too messy. I just kind of want it everywhere. I'm going to take a little bit of that Underworld shade on the same brush, just along my lower lash line. And I'm going to buff that out like crazy. Then on my Morphe M441 brush, I'm just going to take the shade Moss. I'm going to buff that into the crease and create a kind of wing shape along and above the crease. I'm going to put that a little bit in the outer corner as well. It's really kind of building up that color. I'm going to take a little bit of it just in the outer corner of my lower lash line, bringing it up and connecting it to that wing shape we've created. And then using my Luxie 237, it's just a small blending brush, I'm taking the shade Decay, and I'm focusing that just in the outer corner along that wing with a really light hand, brushing it along where we put Moss. I'm using careful windshield wiping motions here to just blend this out because I don't want it to overtake what we've done. I'm going to put a very little bit of that in the outer corner as well, just stamping that in and bringing it up to connect with that wing. I'm just going to blend out a little bit more here on this side because I don't like the blend as much on this side as on this side. Much better. I just had to straighten that line out a little bit. I'm going to take some of the shade Rebirth just on a pencil brush, and I'm going to pop that in my inner corner. And I'm just making sure to bring that up and blend it into those other green shades. Now, if you want an all matte look, you can just leave it right here. I actually really love how this turned out, but just for the sake of using everything in this palette, I'm going to take the shade Golden Bridge just on my finger, and I'm going to pat that basically all over my lid. I'm going to take a little bit of that on a pencil brush and bring that along the lower lash line. Then on another pencil brush, I'm going to take the shade Fluorescence, and I'm going to pop that in the inner corner, just on top of where we put Rebirth. And here is the second look completed. Taking my Morphe M441 brush, I'm using the shade HELA. I'm blending that mostly in the outer half of the upper lid space. I'm blending that into my crease and out towards the brow bone. I'm focusing this more above the crease. I don't really want to bring it onto the lid space proper because I want some separation from what I'm going to be doing on the actual lid space. Then just on my Luxie 237, just a smaller blending brush, I'm taking the shade Goddess, not too much of that, and basically where we put HELA, I'm gonna go in with a very light hand and throw Goddess just over top. Definitely focusing this one a little bit more in that outer corner. Then I'm gonna go in with my ODEN'S IFR4 brush. It's just a small packing brush. I'm gonna take the shade Ouroboros and just pack that in the outer corner. I'm not worried about blending that out yet. Bringing a little bit of that down underneath onto the bottom lash line, just in the outer corner. Then going in with my Morphe M330, I'm gonna go in and just blend out the edges of that green. Trying to keep it as separate from that pink as possible because we don't wanna muddy this up. Gonna take a little bit on that Morphe brush and just blend it in. Making sure to keep that color in the outer corner. I don't want to lose that green by blending it out too much. And then doing the same on the under eye. I'm gonna go back in with that small Luxie brush and just blend out the pink a little bit more on this side. Then I'm gonna use a packing brush. I'm using my, oh gosh, I don't know what this brand is, but it's got this like pretty, I got this in a BoxyCharm. I can't remember what brand it is, but it's just like a small, it says blending brush, but it's shaped more flat like a packing brush. Just whatever packing brush you have. I'm gonna take that shade Venom and I'm gonna place that in the outer corner towards the middle of my eye. Then just on a pencil brush, I'm gonna take the shade Hellfire. I'm gonna pack that in the inner portion and blend that into the green. Now, it's not working super well on a pencil brush, so I'm just gonna take my finger. I'm gonna take it on my finger and try and pack that in there. Yeah, much better. And bring it towards the center, making it mix in with that green shade. That's really pretty. And then finally, because I'm an agent of chaos, I'm gonna take that shade Double-Sided, and I'm gonna put that all over my lid. Over the green, over the pink, or over the peach, I guess. I just want that all over because I haven't used this enough and it's so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna add something to this just to kind of make it a little bit more oomphy. I'm gonna take that shade Ouroboros on a liner brush. This is just my Morphe M160. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that Ouroboros shade in my inner corner and create a bit of a fox eye. Focusing this definitely a little bit more on the bottom lash line. This has honestly become one of my favorite looks to do, is just adding that pop of color in the inner corner just as like a little bit of a embellishment. And then just on a tiny blending brush, I'm gonna go in and kind of smudge it out a little bit. Not too much, but just a little, so the shape is not so harsh. And then taking that Morphe blending brush again, I'm just gonna blend around where I put all of the shimmer, just to make sure that everything is still nicely blended. Going into my ODEN'S FR6 brush, I'm gonna take a little bit more of that shade double-sided, and I'm going to place that along my lower lash line. I want to incorporate a little bit more of that pink, so going back in with the shade HELA, just on a small blending brush, I'm going to go over where we put double-sided on the bottom lash line and just throw in some of that pink. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to do is take more of that shade double-sided, because it's just so pretty, and I'm going to place that just along my crease, blending into the pink on the inner portion. Is that enough? I feel like that's not enough. Fuck it, I'm gonna go with that green again, that shade Venom. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that on my pencil brush, exactly where we put double-sided just now in the inner corner. I'm gonna throw in some of that green as well. Just to line the crease. Just a little, just like a little embellishment, you know? Bringing it down and into my inner corner as well. This look is definitely a little bit more editorial, but I kind of love it. Yes, okay, that's what I wanted. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, it's pretty. I've lost a little bit of that shine on the bottom lash line, so I'm gonna go in with some more Hellfire. I'm just gonna take the tip of my finger. Hopefully this is gonna work and not make a huge mess. I'm just going in with my finger in that shade Hellfire, where we put HELA on the lower lash line. Yes, it's extra as fuck and I love it. Hell yes! The very last thing that I want to do is throw more of that shade double-sided just along my eyebrow. Just along the brow bone. Didn't really do much, so I'm going to take it on my finger instead, just on a pinky. Just. This shade has a transparent base, so it works really nicely on the brow bone. And this is the third and final look completed using the HELA palette from ODEN'S in collaboration with NYQVIST. Welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed the 3 looks that I did with this beautiful palette. So if you were hoping to pick this palette up, it does retail for $43.90 US. In my opinion, it is 5,000% worth it. It is so beautiful. One of the best palettes that they have ever done. It's such a unique color story. Like, just so interesting and so unique. There's so much that you can do with this. Like I said before, I couldn't even figure out which look I wanted to do for this 3 looks 1 palette, but I really like the 3 that I went with. I feel like it shows a really good dynamic range of what this palette can do. I just love it. There's not a whole lot to say except that I just really, really love this palette. I feel like I need to do another updated ranking for all of my influencer palettes because it's been a while since I did the last one and I've added quite a few more to my collection. Which ones have I added? I've added the Legendary Diversa, including this, and then I've added the Mel Thompson one, the Tiny Marvels. Yeah, I'll throw that on the list of things to do. But for now, this one has become one of my favorites. So there's really nothing else to say about this palette other than I really love it. It's one of the best ODEN'S I've ever done, and I would absolutely recommend it. If you don't get a chance to pick it up on the 22nd, that's fine. If it's just not your color story, I also get that. It's definitely my kind of color story. I love wearing greens. I keep looking in the viewfinder at this look and I'm just so captivated by it. It's definitely a little bit more editorial than the other two looks. The second and third looks are a little bit more out there, but I love them. This is my kind of like everyday look. I work at home, so it's really like whatever I want to wear every single day. So again, restocking on the 22nd. Currently it is sold out, but it is coming back. I believe that is going to be the last restock, so you will not have a chance after that to pick up this palette. So definitely pick it up while you can. Anyway, that completes this review of the HELA palette by ODEN'S and ANGELICA'S. I think she did a wonderful job. Props to her and to ODEN'S for creating such a beautiful product and for continuing to inspire with their creativity and their color stories, and truly one of the most inspiring brands out there right now. And I can't wait to see what they come out with next. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And I haven't done this in a long time. I usually just end the video and it's like, whatever. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. You know what to do. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope this video gave you some inspiration. If not with this palette, then with some of the other palettes in your collection. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.